The problem is not the price of the product. That's not really what the problem is. The problem is the perceived value of your product. If the client cannot see the value of your product, they won't spend loads of money on you. The value of your product has to be high so that you could charge a higher prices. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today, I've got a special video for you guys, and it's basically what Jesus has revealed to me, the secret knowledge about business that Jesus has revealed to me over the past week. Actually, I think 2 weeks. Actually, it's not really a secret, but the fact that Jesus revealed it to me is what makes it better. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it. So yeah, basically, number one, I've seen that a lot of people, there's a problem when it comes to pricing, right? That they will have a certain price, but they'll get a lot of people that say, hey, your prices are way too expensive, your prices are way too high. I'll tell you now, it's not, the problem is not the price of the product. That's not really what the problem is. The problem is the perceived value of your product. The perceived value is way too low, but the price is here. Okay, I hope you guys can see that, but the price is here. It makes no sense, you know what I mean? If the client cannot see the value of your product, they won't spend tens of thousands of rands on you. They won't spend loads of money on you. The value of your product has to be high so that you could charge a higher prices. You know what I mean? Or the perceived value of your product has to be high. I'll give you a typical example, right? Number one, if you look at hospital bills are crazy expensive. Just paying for hospital stuff, it's very expensive. You know what I mean? I was actually just talking to another lady. She said to have a child actually, and all the hospital bills, it costs about 200 grand. I don't know if how accurate that is, but to me that's pretty crazy. You know what I mean? That is pretty insane. You know what I mean? So it's just like, but people are able to somehow, some way make it happen. They're able to pay these bills some way, somehow. They'll find a way to pay these bills. School fees. Some schools out here, man, are pretty expensive. Yet parents will make a way to say, you know what, my child is going to school. My child is going to school. I'm talking about primary school. I'm talking about primary school, crazy expensive, you know what I mean? But somehow parents will make a plan to get their children through school. Although it could be expensive, doesn't matter how expensive it is, somehow parents will make a plan. They will find a way for their children to be pushed through school, you know what I mean? So price is not usually the problem. It is the perceived value. If the perceived value of your good or service is low, no one's gonna pay that price. That is why you have to somehow somewhat increase the value of your product. How? The perceived value of your product. How? So number one, you could provide as much information, you can provide as much value as you possibly can about the service just even before you begin to sell. So for example, just before you hop on a discovery call, you need to already be showing value. You could be giving your client free information. You could be showing your client the return on investment they could be getting. And even better, when you hop on the actual discovery call, you should actually show them how much they actually need your service. You should ask them questions and get them stuck with their own questions so that they could see actually how much they need your service in order for them to get into that next level, that next step. You know what I mean? So it's about you showcasing as much possible value as you can. And this just relates to what I've been saying. Do business how Jesus would do business. Jesus wouldn't just be doing business to get as much money out of people as possible. He'd be doing it as if he's serving the Lord. You know what I mean? He's doing it as if he's doing it unto God, you know? And he would do business in such a professional manner that he will provide as much value as possible. You know what I mean? And when you're providing large amounts of value, you can then charge large amounts of pricing. Does that make sense? You can then charge large quantities of money. Does that make sense? But you understand, you know what I mean? So you can then start charging a higher price for the products that you then produce because your client sees the value. And that's the most important part, is really showing your value. You know what I mean? A guy I actually see on YouTube, Myron Golden. You guys should check him out if you don't know him. And Myron Golden, he actually get a lot of inspiration from that guy, you know what I mean? But he charges loads of money to speak at business conferences. The guys who are running the business conferences, they have to pay for his private jet. They have to pay, I think, for accommodation. He said it on a video. But think about that. They have to pay large sums of money to get him there. just for him to speak. Think about it. Just for him to speak, they're gonna pay large sums of money. So it's not really the price, but it's the value. And the amount of money that you make is actually going to be directly linked to the value that you can provide. If you can provide so much value, why would no one not give you their money? You know what I mean? Think about it. Electricity. Electricity is getting expensive nowadays, but some way, somehow, we're still going to try end up paying for that electricity. People are prepared to pay for electricity because it provides so much value. It's a need, it's an essential. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that you absolutely have to be providing needs to make money. There's a lot of people who don't just provide needs and they make a lot of money. Louis Vuitton, for example, they that's not a need. That's a luxury item, you know what I mean? Yet they're still making tons of money. Ferrari is making tons of money. Not because necessarily it's something that's needed, but the value is there. People do believe they're going to get value for money. I'm going to spend 8 million rand on a car. I'm going to get my value. I'm going to spend 15 million rand on a car. I'm going to get value for that money. You know what I mean? So it's really about you increasing the value, the perceived value of your service, of your product before even hopping on the sales call. That's the most important part. That is the secret. That's just the secret. You know what I mean? That you need to try finding a way to increasing the perceived value of whatever that you're doing. And that way, you're going to get more people who are going to be willing to spend loads of money with you. You know what I mean? If you have a client testimonial, that's even better. That's even better. People see the work that you've been doing. People see that, oh shucks, people actually are rating your service a 10 out of 10. They're saying, oh, I got this amount of results. I got X amount of results over X amount of time. So it's just really, yeah, it just stacks on the cake, you know what I mean? And yeah, that's basically the secret knowledge. You need to increase the value as much as possible. But yeah, really, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Do like, comment, share, and subscribe. And yeah, tell me in the comment section what you'd like to see. Tell me what you'd like to what you'd like me to fix up, where you'd like me to improve. And yeah, God bless you guys, eh?